Hey y'all, welcome back to Spirit of the Outdoors. Live from Mississippi on Friday night. No better place to be. See, can we get some chat pulled up here where we can talk at some folks? Let me readjust this camera just a little bit. I spread. There we go. That's what I wanted to see right there. So you know why I am sitting over here where I am sitting. How are you, Ricky Johnson? Good evening, B Hick, Eric and Barbara, John Culpepper. Y'all at the camp house. We are having a chitlin cooking tonight. Come on. It's a one-man show. Hey, Jamie, we having an excellent night so far. Uncle Sasquatch, all Dave. Folks is a piling in. Give y'all time to let everybody go in. Ain't no way I can name probably everybody that gets in there. I ain't figured this vest I got on out yet. I got pockets up here I didn't know. And when you buy stuff at a thrift store or different places, and I've had this over about a year, but I don't never wear it because I didn't want to ruin it. Fine stuff. Now, it still got them do not eat packets in there. I mean, that's salt or something, ain't it? Oh, Patsy Salone, Sharon Davis, Pamela Goodwin. We are cooking chitlins, Pamela. Uncle Sasquatch's favorite food, chitlins. I remember hearing Uncle Sasquatch say he didn't eat no chitlins, but I've had these for, I don't know, a month. I've been wanting to cook them, and so just went at it. Mike Reed, how are you tonight, Mike Reed? John Thomas. I like chitlins. Michelle, I was in there washing them in the sink. My hands are still greasy. I washed them chitlins as hard as I ever washed any chitlin in my life. So I was kind of proud of myself. Boy, Michelle was in there throwing a fit. She said, "You gonna clean that sink?" She said, "You just eating them because of what they are." And said, "You don't even like them." I said, "I do like them. I wouldn't be going to all this work if I didn't." They not for everybody. I figure we'll get some of them green faces before the night's over. You can't mention you're cooking chitlins without somebody posting that green face emoji. Well, we clean most of the slop out of these tonight. Sometimes I don't get all the slop cleaned out of them, but we I went in there and scrubbed these pretty good. Wade boiled is about the only way I really like to eat them. Now, my daddy is right the opposite. If he's gonna eat chitlins, we gotta fry his. So, of course, there's that emoji. I knew somebody was gonna get in here with it. Oh, I'd rather have them fried. I'm not crazy about it. I mean, I'd rather have them boiled. I'm not crazy about them fried. I don't know what the deal is. I've eat them fried. I can eat them fried. I don't like. I'd rather have them with ketchup and hot sauce. That's just the way I like them. But now I have put crab boil in there, and I done boiled them one time and took them out. I boiled them a little while, and then I took them in there and washed them in the sink good and cleaned them up good. Brought them back out here and started reboiling, and they got to boil a while. It'll probably be 9 o'clock before I can eat these. I don't know. I'm I got one out earlier and it's still mighty chewy, so Yeah, Philip, I figure we let them eat possum. They'd be like that fella on that banana train Marcel stopped. He said, in as much as I have stopped here and I like possum, how much you want for him? Martin Meltzer. We've had fairly pleasant wet weather here, Martin. It has been probably in the 60s. Today has been rainy and sloppy. But Magnolia Mama. Julius McKinney, good evening in Kentucky up there. Hey, Willow. How are you tonight? So glad for everybody to come join in tonight, have us chat, and I figure we'll just sit here and have a good time tonight. I hadn't really put any videos up in the last 2 days because I've been trying to catch up on some knives. I have got a bunch of knife orders, and it's been rainy and sloppy, and I just ain't been nothing to get out and do. I've been working on trying to tan some deer hides, and I've had a rough go of some of it. I don't mind telling y'all, I ruined one hide. I had it in the pot. I walked off, left that pot on, and got that hide too hot. That thing looked like it turned to rubber on me. I ain't gonna lie. I ruined it. I'm talking about just flat ruined it. So anyway, we backed up, punt, started with another hide. We'll see how things goes. Brody is in his room, got them Legos scattered all over everywhere. The only way Brody knows how to play with anything is to turn the box of it upside down and spread it out where he can look at it good. Mike Nay in Central Pennsylvania. There's Brian from Poverty Hill. Good to see you tonight, Brian. Richard T. in North Alabama, Deb from Georgia, and I'm sure y'all I'm overlooking some. I can't scroll back and see everyone. Big Buck Getter. Brenda Joe, Frank Lent. Yeah, I need somebody to stand around Frank and clean up my messes I make as I go along, because I'm trying to work on my problem is really ain't that I got so much that I got to do at one time. It's that I can't put that hide over there and stand there and just twiddle my thumbs while it's waiting to the next step. I go start something else and then I get sidetracked in the process. So I can do it to myself. I ain't going to sit here and try to say, well, I just got so much I got to do. I can't. It's my mind drifts from one thing to the next, and it's like cooking these. I can't just sit here and just watch it. I'll be over here scrubbing. I done cleaned up skillets. We had a couple of skillets out here and a Dutch oven, and while I was boiling them, I done cleaned them up. I just had to. I'm a busybody. I got to be doing something. I can't just. And I tell you what I did do while I was waiting on time to do this to maintain. I'm reading this book. I don't even remember now. And I ought to be ashamed of this. I don't even remember who sent it to me, but this book right here, A Land Remembered, that's a pretty good book, I'll have to say. It's based down in Florida around the time of the Civil War, and it's pretty good. You just have to read it. I can't really describe it. Well, I have messed your chat up. Michael Gatlin, either message me on Facebook or email me at justinpeden@gmail. I get you on the list. We're at least at 4 weeks on the knife right now. It really could be longer than that, because it depends on how fast I try to work through them. And I'm fixing to go put some lines in the river is what's fixing to happen. I'm just gonna tell you. I was gonna go put them today, but it was just, man, the wind is just howling. And I'm going to tell you something. When the wind is blowing just, I don't really want to be down there in that swamp at all, on the bank, on the river, on anything, because there's a lot of dead trees and stuff down there, and you ain't paying attention to that wind blowing like a limb come down. And especially if you go upstream in the boat, if one happened to fall across the river, well, you stuck, you know. So I've learned the hard way to stay out from down there when it's bad windy. And I'm talking about we had 20, 25 mile an hour gusts today. Now it hadn't just blowed constantly that hard, but Deb said, what kind of deep fryer to have? Right now, I just got this Dutch oven that's sitting back here. I put it on this cooker right here. I got 2 burners up here and a burner down low. And I'll just cook in that. But now I'm going to wind up buying me probably before I get started fishing hard. Well, there's 2 over there at the cabin. My brother's got one over at the cabin that I borrowed last year. I brought it over here for a little while. One of them basket fryers, and they work exceptional for fish. She didn't want to smell my chitlins, Uncle Sasquatch. She's in there hiding on the couch. Jerry Short, they won't allow us to put baskets in the swamp. Now, I run a lot of bait baskets, but I have seen a basket in that swamp before, to answer the question, but you can't legally run them in there, so we can't legally talk about it on YouTube. But I've heard of slat boxes and fish baskets and all such as that. And I don't know if you can run them in that swamp with a commercial license or not. I feel like you can if you buy a commercial license, but I wouldn't do enough of it to justify it. So it's not worth it. I can get more fish than I personally want to fool with limb hooks or whatever else, because I'm only feeding me and my wife, and I mean 2 or 3 runs of catfish, and you wind up sticking them in freezers and everywhere. And I have made it a rule around here not to put very many fish in a freezer. I don't put crappie in the freezer. I don't put catfish in the freezer. The only time I put catfish in the freezer is when we make a run to Tom Bigby and run big lines, and I come back with like 2 coolers full of fish. We'll have a big fish frying, and then we'll put a good bit in the freezer then. But fish in the freezer around here is a bad idea, because it'll just sit in there and go bad, because normally the next time I'm ready for fish, I'm wanting to go fishing. So, you know. Jeff Clark said in the marsh you can't keep the boat straight. I can see that. It's been howling here. Larry said it's about to blow him out of the stand this morning. I could see that too. And fishing, it really ain't as much about like on a lake, you boat blowing all over where you catch a fish, and you turn around and get your hook bait, and you look around and you way off from where you caught a fish, which, But the thing is, if you're trying to put your bait down in the water right there, you got to hold your pole way over here, because the line's hanging out like a kite, So Jeff Caudell, how are you? DJ, I don't have any game file available. I don't try to sell any chickens. I've had people want me to ship. I'm actually trying to get rid of most of my game chickens. I am experimenting with the black ones just to see if I can make some black chickens, but I don't know. I have lost a couple of roosters here recently in this cold, and the ones I lost were already kind of iffy on health. One was a gray rooster that for a year he has not really been healthy. In other words, his tail has never really just stood up. He just moped around, so he's had problems already anyway. And it was probably a blessing to see him go. But I did lose one of my Americanas that I really didn't want to lose, and he was healthy. I don't know what happened to him, and I had put 10 up and stuff for them to get behind, and I don't know what happened there. Oh, Martin Meltzer, I have walked on them Legos a good bit. And I'm going to tell you another one. Them little green army men, they pretty tough too, but now I don't know what my mama was thinking the other day. She got online and ordered some jacks. I told her, I said, I told my wife, I said, don't you haul them up here. I don't want no jacks in the floor up here. No sirree, Bobby. Them jacks is what's dangerous. I don't know what happened. I quit making a bunch of racket. Let me stir in this a minute. Trying to keep up with them. I poured a little bit of hot sauce in there. Some crab boil, got salt in it. I may have to add some water. I'm getting low on water.
Hey, everybody.
You come out here to get a whiff of my chitlins?
Well, the wind's blowing it over that way. I was scared to come over there. Now it's coming this way.
She'll get her a good whiff of them in a minute.
I made broccoli soup. That's what I ate.
Thomas Shepard Roscoe, he's been in and out. I think he's doing good. He ain't really been hopping last day or two. Yeah, Felicia, it's an acquired taste. It's one of them things that you try it, you either like it or you don't, and that's all there is to it. There ain't no... And I've heard people try to say, oh, you just need to try the way I cook them, and that's hogwash. If you don't like them, you cook them 6 ways from Sunday, every different way you want to, and you ain't gonna make somebody that don't want to eat them like them. It ain't happening. I'm sorry. I know you want everybody to like what you like. It don't bother me that nobody else wants to eat them. I'll cook them because I like them, because I can get outside and cook them out here and not bother nobody, you know. If they want to come eat them, they can come eat them. If they don't, they stay at the house. I had a woman in one of my videos back. I did a video cooking chitlins several years ago. And, you know, when you're making a video, you filming just a little here, there, and yonder and stuff, because the video will get an hour long if you ain't careful, which I have no problem making an hour-long video. I try to keep them somewhere between 30 to 40 minutes is my goal. Sometimes they ain't 15 minutes, sometimes they're an hour, but my goal is around between 30 to 40 minutes. But anyway, I didn't film every detail of cooking them chitlins. And this woman, boy, she said, you didn't wash them chitlins. She said, ain't no way I'd eat them. And she had a big one of them posts, you know, comment in there. It was about yay long. I think she had to get it published by somebody to put it in there. Probably had copyright to it if it looked good. But for the life of me, I don't remember inviting her to eat, not one time. And I proceeded to tell her that. I don't think she's commented there another time since then. Probably ain't watching there another video. But I felt like that was a blessing on my part. No, the English Joe, I can't bring myself to put no chitlin on no trot line. I got too much deer liver saved for such an occasion as that. That's what I'm going to start with. Wade said he had heard if you put a potato in them, they won't smell as bad. I had never heard that. I can't say that it's wrong. I don't know. Never heard that at all. But the smell don't bother me. So I really hadn't had a reason to try to. I'll tell you what I do got to do. I rubbed some oil around on this wash pot over here. That's what I call this kettle, or we call it a wash pot. But anyway, it's set out here getting rain blowed on it till it's about rusted. And when I got it hot, I soaked it down with oil out there. But I may have to get one of y'all cast iron experts to tell me the best way to really season that thing, because it's so big. The only way I can do it is either on this fire, on a fire, or on this cooker right here. And I have had the best luck seasoning stuff by putting it in the oven where it gets. But now I did season a couple of them Dutch ovens out here on that, so I don't know. We'll have to. I have to check these every now and then to make sure, see when they start getting tender enough to eat. Gonna have to have some more salt, I believe. Somebody left the salt sitting out here and it's done clumped up. Imagine who that was. We'll get that stirred in good. They have quit boiling though. The fire is hot. No, they boiling. I just can't see it. Somebody asked what was the story on the wash pot. Big buck getter. Oh, I don't know the whole story on it. My dad was working at a scrap yard, and he come driving up one day. Some old folks had hauled that thing to the scrap yard. They was cleaning out their grandpa's old barn. He'd passed away, and they was just hauling some old junk off, and there was an anvil and that wash pot in there, and I gave 50 cents a piece for them. I got $1 in that wash pot and that little anvil that I got that I used. In a lot of my blacksmithing videos, you see me using that little anvil. I give 50 cents for it. Yeah. I have never eaten pig's feet, Greg. I would try them, but I have never eaten them. Well, I ain't never seen a crocodile. I've eat alligator, Patsy, but I had never eat a crocodile. I don't reckon we got iron up here. Robert Martin, I am going to do a good bit of cooking. I have got a lot of fish recipes I'm looking forward to trying. I get in these moods, I guess is what happens. When I built all this, I was going to cook, but I tell you the problem out here with my cooking videos outside is I hadn't really got the light all like I wanted. If you try to film at dark, and it's hard for me to ever get started cooking before dark. I don't know why. And then if it's real bright sunshine, well, it whitewashes everything out there, and the lighting's not real great. And if a video don't look good, I don't like to keep making them. That's why you don't see me doing a lot of night hunting and fishing and such as that. It's hard to make videos at night. But I'm going to get some rearranging done out here, but I got to put up a wall right over here to block a lot of this wind and stuff out. But I'm back in. I'm wanting to cook a good bit. I enjoy cooking. Cooking's one of my, I like to eat's what it is. So, what you eat?
I made corn dogs.
Corn dogs. Corn dog cupcakes.
Muffin.
Looks like a corn dog cupcake. Well, Bigfoot researchers. Muley Dave, yes, I've probably sold over 100 knives so far in the last year. Mike Thompson said his grandmother fixed chitlins. for his granddaddy when he was a boy, and the smell run him out the door to the neighbor's house. Randall Ross said he greased his up, turned the burner on high. Well, that is about what I am doing now. And one thing, the reason I'm cooking chitlins in there is these chitlins has got a lot of grease in them. This bucket did, and I got a whole 10 pounds in there. So the inside wouldn't bad because I keep a board over the top of it, but it wouldn't season like it should be. But it looks like, from what I can see, the inside is starting to season up good just cooking these chitlins. But now the outside is a horse of a different color, I'm going to say. But we'll see. We'll see. Boy, that one I ate a while ago didn't have no taste to it. I'm going to have to... I may have to pour the rest of that bottle of crab boil in there is what I do, because I like mine spicy. And there ain't nobody but me going to eat these, so I can pour the heat to them if I take a notion. Y'all take a notion at stuff. I don't know. I watch Matt Presley and the Presley girls celebrating Appalachia. We watch them a good bit. And they do them word of the day. And I thought about one the other day, and I asked them about it. I don't know if they even saw the comment. They get so many comments, they can't see all that stuff. I know how it is. You can't keep up with all of it. But y'all ever try to Jew anybody down? How do you spell that? You know, if you're doing some horse trading, you want to try to Jew that other fella down as much as you can where you get a good deal. I don't know. How many of y'all know about Jewing? It's one of them old redneck terms we use out here in the South. Muleer Dave, email me at justinpeden@gmail.com or get on the Facebook page and just message me. We're trying to figure out how to set up a website. I'm slacking a little bit and I hadn't got my daughter all the options and pictures and everything else, but we don't really know how to set up where you can order on there and like select options you want, because I want you to be able to say, hey, I want you to add liners to the inside of my knife, or no, I don't want them. And each option will cost you about $10 more. If you want to add a lanyard hole to a knife, it's, you know, if you want to take the lanyard hole out, you know, some people like stuff, some people don't. If you want to add other sheath options, if you want to add initials to a sheath or this, that, and the other. And we eventually going to get to where we're adding the logo to the blade. I'm going to ship a bunch of blades at some point to Joey at M4 Laser Works and let him laser etch a bunch of them and come back. The only deal is when I put the logo in there, I got to cover paying him to laser etch it, shipping it over there and shipping it back. So somebody's got to pay for all that. So right now I am able to keep knives at about $150 for a good knife. And that's an affordable, for a knife with a sheath and the shipping included, you can't beat that for a handmade knife. And it keeps it where the average person can get a good knife and a usable knife at a reasonable cost. Like Canterbury, his knives, you pay $160-something and you don't get a sheath or nothing. Now, he sends you a nifty little box that it comes in that you're going to throw in the garbage. So that's kind of a waste, and I could order some boxes and have them, but your knife price would go up. But none of his include a sheath, and then you pay the shipping on top of that. So, and I think his knives are good knives. I ain't knocking the knife, but I'm just saying the price, if I start adding stuff, the price goes up. So with the website to order, I've got to figure out how to be able to go in there and put them options in there and not have to pay for it, because I don't want you paying for a knife as soon as you place an order. Because the reason is if I get 300 knife orders, well, it's going to take me a while to make them. Well, what if something happens to me? And I got all these people's money and I can't make a knife. What if I, get hurt? Or, what if I decide, I'm tired of doing this, I'm going to quit? So anyway, that's why I don't want somebody paying for a knife until, hey, I'm fixing to build your knife this week. And usually I try to collect payment like on Fridays or Saturdays or Monday. Sometime over the weekend, try to set up, or a lot of times it's Monday. And I try to get payment collected, and then I start working on those knives, whatever order they all get paid for. And I try to do like 4 or 5 at a time on the first of the week. And if everything works out and I get them all done, Wednesday, Thursday, I may start trying to collect on another one or two and see which one I'm starting next there. This week, I hadn't completed all of them that I took money on at the first of the week because I had beavers I had to get trapped. I had to go to town twice, ship stuff, just different stuff going on, and I just hadn't got them all done. So that is the way we're doing it. We're trying to get a website, but I really need somebody that knows how to build a website to help me out. My daughter can do it through one of these apps, but to put in those options, you just about got to know how to write code to do that, and we don't know that. So John Culpepper said, Mike Culpepper likes his chitlins boiled and stuffed with collard greens and whole kernel corn. Well, I cleaned the collard greens and the whole kernel corn out of these a while ago. I could have fixed him right up. But now, those of you that hadn't heard me say this before, because I have said it in times past, if you mess around and you invite folks or folks find out you cooking chitlins, you got two kind of people. You got the people that post that green emoji when they find out you cooking chitlins, or either they show up with a plate in a hand ready to eat. There ain't no in between. Well, if you ain't got but 10 pounds of chitlins, they start disappearing pretty fast. And you got to figure out how to put a halt to that, or you'll mess around and you cooking them and you won't get enough. So the way you solve this is you wait till they ain't nobody looking, and you get you a can of that whole kernel corn, and you wait till they ain't looking, they telling jokes over there or whatnot. You just kind of dump it over in there and then hide the can. And then you go to stirring in it and you go, boy, somebody didn't clean these real good, did they? And everybody get to looking in there, and then you got plenty of chitlins to eat. So that's just a tip for y'all from an old professional way back when. I had an old man shared that with me. Read through some of these comments. Yeah, Wade, if you start making knives, it don't take, and I'm going to tell you something else. While there's some of y'all that make knives in here, I've been ordering stuff from Pop's Knife Supply. I think that's in Georgia. Well, I don't know what's going on. Usually in about 3-4 days, I got whatever I order. Well, I'm down to my last grinding belt. And I've had belts ordered over about a week and a half now, and they ain't got here yet. I've tried to order them little brass and copper tubes that go to make your lanyard holes, because I'm down to about one of them. And they always out. So I'm fixing to have to go to ordering through somebody else. And somebody said there was USA Knife Makers or something out in Texas. I may have to go to them. So whoever y'all suggest, let me know. Man, I build all my own sheaths. I build everything that goes with these. But I got some guys here that are good at it. There's a young man here. Well, he ain't a young man. He's my age. I guess I think I'm a young man. But he can do all that tooling and all that, make some fine leather work. And I had thought about if I wanted something real pretty, letting him make it. But anyway, I had a guy asking me this week at the post office about making him a gun holster. And I told him, you go let that guy make it. But I build most of my knife sheaths. It's just something I enjoy doing a little of all of it. I don't think I'm good at it by any means. I just enjoy doing it. Lowe's has 316. I am using 1/4-inch brass tubes, but and it's barely, the hole's just barely big enough to shove that paracord through it. Mike said they just had some navy beans. Nikki, I'm making chitlins. Where you and JR at? And look, Nikki, while you on here, where's our videos? I mean, this channel y'all got going, I ain't seen a fresh video on it, and I couldn't tell you when. What is the hold up? Do I need to come over there and get y'all kicked back off to making videos? I miss listening to JR gripe about stuff. They ain't nothing more enjoyable to me than to listen to JR get torqued up and go to griping about something, because he's good at it, and it's hilarious. But yes, I am making chitlins. Got chitlins cooking right now. Every time I lay this thing down, my chat turns around sideways. I want to lay it right over there where I ain't got to sit here and hold it the whole time. Because if I sit here and hold it, I ain't doing nothing but staring at it. And then I ain't talking at y'all. So I reckon I'm going to have to hold it. But I'm looking at this coffee cup. I can see the bottom of it. That's my problem right now. Me stirring this pot. I need to taste one, see if that salt took effect. There's a little old bitty one. Oh, they getting close to being ready to eat. Salt help, I need some more. A pot of water takes a lot of salt. And I like to use that, well, it's just plain salt. This box says it does not supply iodine, a necessary ingredient. You ain't never gonna cook with salt that somebody don't fuss at you about. That ain't good for you. It ain't. It sure ain't. All right. Randy Allen said his mind is slipping. He almost forgot about the live stream. Well, Lord help. You here now. Thank goodness we got chitlins cooking. You can smell them about a half a mile yonder way. A while ago you could smell them a half a mile yonder way, but the wind done changed directions. You have to be careful which way the wind's blowing when you start cooking them. You'll either start getting phone calls of people mad fussing at you, or people will start showing up the driveway ready to eat, one of the two. That's why I got to put some walls around him. Used to, people would call the law on you when you turned your radio up real loud, but I done graduated past that. Now they call the law when I start cooking chitlins. They'd rather I played the radio, some of them, I think. I used to have a radio that they had called the law on you for. Nikki, how's Mama doing? I ain't heard nothing out of her in a while. But yeah, I'm ready to go fishing. Y'all need to go fishing with me. I done got where I can put that war eagle in the swamp now. We can ride. I'm fixing to go to putting limb hooks out. Come on, I'm ready. I'm ready to go do it. I should have had them out this week. People keep wanting knives, though. That's what I'm blaming it on. I'm blaming it on them knife orders. I bought Randall Hayes. They still got a cooler full of them up there at the Viral supermarket for $10 a bucket. They trying to give them away. They marked them up to $40 thinking folks was going to pay $40 for chitlins. Well, I'm going to tell you, I like chitlins, but I'm not going to pay $40 for chitlins. I just ain't going to pay $40. There's a lot of stuff I can eat, because $40 for a 10-pound bucket, well, bless your heart, I can about eat that 10-pound bucket. by myself now. If I don't eat them all tonight, I'll warm them up in the microwave and I'll polish them off tomorrow. Well, for $40, I can eat a lot of other stuff now. Not at Sonic. You can't eat but about 2 hamburgers at Sonic for $40. But if you go to the grocery store and get some, you know how many chicken thighs I can buy for $40 and put on that grill? And I like chicken thighs, especially lathered down with that picking and grilling barbecue sauce. They good eating. In fact, I got 6 of them in there. I'm going to cook here pretty quick. But Brandel Hayes, I got them at the Vowels up here in town. Chitlin pie. Dave, it's going to be hard for me to go down there in that swamp with them limb hooks and not take a crappie fishing pole and check a couple of them spots I go by just to see. I have checked this hole down here that I can drive my buggy up to, and they didn't want to act right in it. Greg, thank you for bringing that up. We are in the process of having Spirit of the Outdoors hats. Now, I've got camo on there. Somebody commented on that, and they're on Facebook. You're going to have to get on M4 Laserworks Facebook page to order them as of right now. We may come up with another way to order them before it's said and done for those of you not on Facebook. Eventually, I may have some here physically that you can order them from me and I can just ship them to you. But what we're doing is Joey has them for Laserworks. He's got the hats. He's got all the stuff. Basically, what we're doing is I'm going to promote the hats, advertise the hats, push the hats, may even wear a hat one day, time or two. We'll see how that goes. Don't know. I ain't make no promise. I'm not forsaking my do-rag, but I may wear a hat today because they some good-looking hats, and I like that mossy oak bottomland. But he's going to just sell the hats, ship them directly from his place to you when you order them, and I'm going to get a small commission off of it. All I got to do is tell you about the hats. I ain't got to touch nothing. So that's easier for me because I got plenty to do without having to go ship hats and all. And it helps Joey out. Joey is a really good guy. Me and him have been talking, and he's been watching the channel for several years now. So I'm happy to be helping his business, giving him some business. So that is how that's operating. So somebody asked, was camo the only color we had? I don't really know. You're going to have to get up with Joey. I feel like he could probably do several hats. These hats are those Richardson hats. They're the best hats on the market. As far as home, putting your logo on a hat, those hats are the best hats being made right now as far as I'm concerned. And I don't even wear a hat, but I get them occasionally for Brody or my dad, and that's what I do with them. But I used to wear hats a lot. All I ever wore was caps until, and while we're on that, somebody asked the other day, said, tell us why you wear the do-rag. So let's go get that over with. I don't know if whoever it is watching, but if they not, they'll catch you live later or something. But somebody asked me, and I've told this before, why do you wear a do-rag all the time? Well, it ain't just because I think I look cool. I mean, I do look cool. I'm kidding. What happened is I always wore a cap. I've got real thick hair. I mean, just thick. So I just keep it sheared off. But the problem with the thick hair is when I was doing diesel mechanic work, you up under trucks, pulling transmissions, doing brake jobs, all that business. Well, you're steadily having to take that hat off to look up under something because the bill of it hitting everything. And you get that grease in there and you couldn't get it out. So I started wearing them occasionally then, just on and off. I was still wearing a hat a lot, but if I was under a truck, I'd tie that over my head to kind of protect my hair. Well, when I quit that, I went to work with my dad over here welding. Well, we were welding every day. Well, I started buying those welding hats. You turn them backwards, got the little short bill. You look like Gomer Pyle. And I had several of them. But we was welding that tubing that was real oily. Well, leather gloves just get covered with oil. In the hot summer over there, you start sweating and you wipe and sweat. Well, before you know it, you got black all around your nose and everywhere. Well, it'd get all over that welding hat. So you got to bring it home and wash it. Well, that thing would shrink up when it went through the dryer, and you'd try to put it back on your head, and it'd about squeeze your brains out your ears. And I said, well, I know what I'll do. I was like Marcel when he nailed that 2x6 on top of that house. And I started back wearing a do-rag and tying it on. Well, about that time, I bought a motorcycle. And I rode a Honda Shadow for several years, and then I wound up buying a Harley Davidson, so I wore the do-rag under my helmet. I don't like a welding hat on my hair. I don't like a helmet on my hair. I wanted a hat under the something, so through those, that was about 4 years of welding and about 2 years of mechanic work. And then as I started into the working out, doing metal roofing, the bandana was just better for soaking up sweat, so it just stuck. I'd done been wearing it constantly for about 6 years. It just become a thing. And then right here about, I don't know, several years ago, I quit wearing them. Before I started the channel, or along the time I started the channel, I had kind of quit wearing them. And it just, I don't know, it was my thing. It was just what I liked. I wear a hat, and every time I'd look up, I was steadily taking off. I hated the bill in my way. I didn't wear a hat because I needed to keep the sun out of my eyes. So I forsook the hat and went back to the do-rag, and that's all I've ever wore. So it's more out of habit, and now it is just kind of my identity, I guess. If I take it off, people don't even know who I am. So if I want to go somewhere and not be bothered, I take this off, put a hat on. People don't even know who I am. Matt, it is time to start some seeds here. Actually, it is past time, but I am not starting seeds this year. I don't really have a good place to put them. I don't have time to see after them, and for what I am going to plant this year, I'm just going to go to the co-op at Neshoba County and buy the seedlings and put them in the ground. And that's how I'm going to operate this year. Randall Hayes, I can't say I miss my Harley. I'll own another motorcycle one day. I enjoy riding a motorcycle. I won't never own another Harley. A Harley is bad overrated. The next one I own will be a Honda Shadow. Most likely my next motorcycle will be a street and trail. I want a dirt bike that I can leave here and go to the deer camp and then go in and ride all over the deer camp. If I want to go scouting for deer, I can leave on that thing, not burn no gas, go over. The ideal thing is if I want to ship knives, I can go ship knives right to town. But the biggest problem I got with a motorcycle is every time I go to town, well, I need to get gas for the buggy, I need to get chicken feed, or I need to get dog food, or, well, you know, it's a problem hauling that with a motorcycle, so. But I'm going to town pretty regular now shipping knives. It would really be a benefit for that as far as gasoline. So, you know, there's benefits to it all, but I doubt I'm going to buy a brand new motorcycle just to go back for town. I do have the Bronco back. Y'all saw that. It is not running. It's running, but I got to buy a new battery to put in it. The old battery that was in there, the cold zapped it, and it wouldn't stay up, so... And then there's a solenoid out on the fender well, and I got it out there, and I got to put it in there. We had to cross it out to crank it. You know, it's got that solenoid on the fender up there under the hood. So I got to buy a new battery for that before we can ride around in the Bronco, and I'm going to get out there and pressure wash it. I may do that tomorrow. Roscoe's, he's slipping around somewhere. He was in the house, I think, Uncle Sasquatch, but he's here. Yeah, Chris, Harley is, I had a Harley, and it was not a better motorcycle than my Honda Shadow was. It really was not. I liked it. It had a good sound. It was, you know, it was powerful. It was fast. It had the what was the engine? The 103 on it. It was a 2012 Heritage Softail Tequila Sunrise paint. It was a beautiful motorcycle. But man, it wasn't worth what I gave for it. It really wouldn't. Michael Glatlin, I'm glad you got to hear that story, because I knew somebody, I can't remember. And y'all, it ain't no offense. People send me stuff, people ask questions, and I promise y'all, I can't keep up with it. One poor country boy has a hard time keeping up with the traffic I get through my Facebook inbox and emails and text messages, and I'm glad to get to talk to all of you, but I do struggle to remember who done what. Uh, I had a man sent me a book today. I got to get it. In fact, it's in the truck. I didn't even get it out of the truck when I got home. I forgot about it. I pulled up. I had people that showed up wanted to come see me today, and I met some people from down in South Mississippi drove up here. And when I got out, I talked to them, and I forgot all about the book. So it stays a mite busy around here, but that's the way I like it. We have not done anything, Nancy, to the TP. The TP is sitting down there. I'm ready to seal it, but every time it's raining, about every 3 to 4 days, so by the time it dries up, it's going to have to get dry and me have time to seal it all on at the same time. And getting those two things to happen at the same time is about like getting all the planets to line up. Just don't happen often. But we're going to get it, because me and Brody's going to go camp out in it. I've got videos I'm going to film, and we're going to film some cooking around it, but I am threatening moving it. One of the things that's got to happen with the TP, I want to seal it but while it's up. And once the sealing it cures and all that's done, I want to take it down, and all of those poles need to be sealed. I want to oil every one of them, and I don't know if I'm going to put pine tar or if I'm going to put boiled linseed oil, but we're going to seal all of them poles, and then I'm going to put it back up, and I may put it up down there at the pond, but I may put it out here in the yard. I don't know what I'm going to do. But right where it's at, I've noticed that the water runs down under it, so it's not in the perfect location. I didn't think things through. No, John, I didn't. Time I got off the phone, that day that I called you, I think I spent 4 hours on the phone, but now I did figure out how to put them earmuffs. I got some Sony headphones that Bluetooth, and I done learned that I can talk on the telephone while I'm working on knives and stuff. So I played catch up that day, and I called everybody back that had been calling, leaving me voicemails, and I know I spent 3 to 4 hours on the phone that day. But it wasn't holding me up. I was still working while I was doing it, and that's why I returned all them phone calls. Normally, I do all my phone calling while I'm on the road driving, and I can't do nothing else, you know. But we getting it figured out. Weston, hadn't seen you in a while, buddy. Pray for Philadelphia. What's up, Daniel? What is up with Philadelphia now? I don't know. I seen the airplane crash. That ain't what we're talking about, is it? That was on the Potomac. That was around D.C., wasn't it? Virginia? Bryant, we're going to do a good many cooking videos. And Weston, yes, I bow hunt. We killed one this year. Nancy, we skinned beavers. I'm probably not going to eat these beavers because I don't know how long they had been dead, these last two. Now, last week we cooked the first two that we caught. They done had another airplane crash, Eric. Oh, man. I have not heard about that anyway. A lot going on in this world. I'm going back trying to catch up, see what all I missed. Tracy Duncan, Michelle, and Brody is in the house in there. She cooked him some corn dog muffins or something in there. Thank you, Martin. Robert Martin. Mike Reeves, how are you, buddy? Michelle, you talk to him for a minute. Let me go fill up my coffee cup. Here she comes. Y'all ask her about her. She's trying to get her channel going.
Let me crack my phone down.
You can check the comments on that. I got to go fill up this cup. I done run slam out of coffee.
Well, I'm not going to get too close to you, pot over here.
Yeah, it's smelling good over there.
Y'all, let me just tell y'all. He come in. I was in there making my broccoli soup and working really hard on it. And he comes in there with a pan of chitlins and dumps them in the sink and goes to washing them. I mean, he's got the biggest mess in there. He did clean it up, but I had to go behind and get the Clorox and stuff and spray in there. It stunk. He don't think they stink, but I think they smell bad. No, we didn't get any snow. Just cold, cold weather, but no snow. Let me tell y'all what my daughter did to me today. So
Be careful.
I am. My mama called me in a panic. She said, somebody has got Lacey's phone. And I said, what are you talking about? And she said, somebody has stole Lacey's phone and called me. FaceTimed me, and it's not Lacey, but it's coming from Lacey's number. And I said, well, Mama, I don't know. And Lacey works at Justice Court in town, so I said, well, I kept pulling her up on the map, and I said, well, she shows she's at work. And Mama said, well, some man has her phone number because he keeps FaceTiming me. So I called Lacey at work, and she answers the phone, but I called her on her work number, her work phone. And I said, Lacey, where's your cell phone? She said, oh, I don't know, Mama. She said, well, I guess it's in my purse. And she looked, she said, oh, I must have left it at lunch when I went to eat lunch. She said, oh, gosh, I can't find it. Well, then she hangs up on me. And then I start getting a FaceTime call from her phone. And I answer it, and it's this man that he ain't got no shirt on, and he looks rough. And he's sitting there just staring at me, and I'm like, hello? I'm like, whose phone did you have? Did you steal my daughter's phone? I was just talking, and he just kept staring at me. Never would say anything. So I called back up to Lacey's work. He hung up on me. So I called back to Lacey's work, and her boss answered the phone. And I told the lady, I said, look, I said, where's Lacey? And I said, I was just talking to her, and she hung up on me. And she said, well, she's up front. And I said, well, somebody has stole her cell phone. She said, what are you talking about? And I said, well, some man keeps calling me from Lacey's cell phone. And she says, well, we ain't gonna have nobody stealing people's stuff. Well, then I get put on hold, and then it hangs up. So Lacey FaceTimes me back again, and it's that same man. I answer the phone, and it's that man again. And Lacey starts laughing, and she has got a computer screen pulled up, and she's sitting there like with her phone up to there like it's some man FaceTiming me. And she got me and my mama real good. I was mad. I had done called Justin and told Justin that somebody had stole her phone.
Lord.
I'm going to leave on that one.
Yeah. Reckon where she got that from? My daughter. She's kind of a prankster, you know.
My daughter plays the piano song.
Plays the piano, they called it on Beverly Hillbillies. Y'all, this is my homemade hot sauce right here. I like me some hot sauce.
Big Buck said my granddaughter did that to me too. I was not happy. Well, I wasn't happy either. She really had me going. I was starting to get mad.
Michelle called me in a panic. Somebody stole her phone. Well, there ain't nothing I can do about it. Well.
So then come to find out, there was another girl there that was filming Lacey doing that the whole time, and they was back there in the background just giggling.
They had them a large time with it. And let me say the prayer before I start eating this, because once I get started, I probably ain't gonna stop. Dear Lord, we're so thankful for this food. We pray you'd bless it to the nourishment of our bodies to give us strength and good health. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Somebody asked, why do you eat so much? Or made the comment that I eat a lot. And I just tell y'all, I'm down to about one meal a day. I don't hardly eat nothing through the day. I don't have time to stop and eat. Now, I did stop today and got me a hamburger at the Sonic. Don't tell Michelle.
I don't cook breakfast in the mornings. It's kind of just every once in a while I will, but sometimes it's just a fend for yourself thing. We have coffee every morning. But you mean you stopped and got you a Sonic burger and you always fussing at me for getting Taco Bell?
I'm about to starve to death today. I stay busy. I burn it off.
That thing says do not eat.
Yeah, I was gonna put it on my chitlins. I figured it'd make somebody on here proud of me. Boy, you gotta be careful eating these chitlins. That corn are getting your teeth.
Ugh. I don't think I'm gonna eat that. I'm gonna eat that.
Yeah, I keep getting corn in my teeth. Matthew Graves said, what are we eating? These right here is turd wrappers. Anyway. Chris said he's at 4 meals a day and he's still a string bean. Well, I can't sit here and accuse myself of being a string bean now. Thomas, I didn't see the new pot, I don't think. Where you at, Jimmy Sullivan? DH said he had folks Jew him all the time. Well, I probably got more, Michael, and we can both eat, but come on, grab some. I ain't greedy. I ain't bit nobody in a couple of weeks, I reckon. I ought to be safe. I may ought to come down. All the water about boiled out of them. I still don't think I put enough salt in there. I don't know what the deal was. No more water than I got in there. It shouldn't take no whole lot. And y'all want to know why I didn't put a lot on my plate, and I'll tell you why. About 50 degrees, 45, 50 degrees out here. I don't know exactly. I'm looking at it at an angle. It may be 50 something. But they'll get cold on you real quick, and they ain't near about as good cold. And if y'all want to know if they good or not, here's how you find out. Right through. Is that any good? If your dog won't eat it, it ain't fit to eat. Come here. Is that good? Dog eat it. It's good to eat. I have eaten some stuff that the dog wouldn't eat now. And it didn't slow me down. I went right on eating it. Y'all went out to eat. I got you. Crappie fillets, Matthew Graves. I got to acquire me some crappie fillets is what I got to do. And I'm itching to do that very thing. I went out there and pulled the plug on my boat today. I had left a plug in it. It looked like a bathtub. It about knee deep of water on the inside. We got a lot of chitlins to eat. We'll sit here and do our best to put a hurting on them. All right, where's that hot sauce at? This is my own homemade habanero hot sauce. We're going to pour the heat to it, son. I mean, oh yeah. Y'all, that is good. Martin, them kids are a lot of fun now. And I'm going to tell y'all another one going to be a prankster, and that's Brody. Brody likes to try to play a joke on somebody. He ain't mastered the art just yet, but it thrills him. Randall Hayes, it won't be long. We going to be in, do some slab jerking here for what Jerry Clower called it, perch jerking. But there's a lot, it's time to do a lot of stuff, really and truly. And the reality is I ain't going to be able to get but so much of it done with all these knife orders I got going on. And I've got a trip to Alabama planned in late February. So I got to get some money made, saved up, and then when all y'all's ice melts up north up there, I got to make a run up to West Virginia to meet a fella up there. Nancy, I have people all the time ask me how long to cook stuff. I'm going to be honest with you. I've probably been cooking these, honestly, I'm looking at the clock in there on the wall, probably about 3 hours at this point. I cooked them about 30 minutes. I got them to a good rolling boil and let them boil about 30 minutes, and then I took them out and went in there and washed them and poured that water out, and I filled it up with new water. Well, I put probably about 7 or 8 gallons of new water in it. And I went in there and washed them good and come back, and then I boiled them again. So there's probably 3 hours of cooking in there altogether. And they could cook a little while. They not just real tender, but they tender enough to eat. But I have people ask me how long I cook like squirrels, and a lot of times I just watch stuff till it's about like I think it's done. I don't really time much of anything. And y'all, I get a recipe out, and when I'm looking at a recipe, it's like the Pirates Code book on Pirates of the Caribbean. It's more of a guideline, than actual rules. I ain't gonna go by it real strict. I ain't seen Brody Kenneth. He's in that. I bet you he's glued to the TV. If I had to be real honest with you, he ain't gonna come and say hi or nothing. We'll get him out here in a little bit. Mudcat times ain't hard. When I got chitlins, we eating high on the hog again, son. We done gotten high cotton around here now. These things was $40 a bucket here back during the summer. So this is the cream of the crop. Matthew Graves, I'm going to be up around northeast Alabama. I don't know exactly what town. I try not to give away precisely where I'm going because I'm going to hang out with some other folks and see how they do things and hunt and fish. And I try not to tell where other people live, But I'm going over there to hang out with my buddy Don Lanier. He don't do a lot of commenting on here. If he got something to say, he'll just call me. But now, he been good to me. Last time I went over there, he sent me home with a boat motor he gave me now. It ain't often a fella just gives you a boat motor now. But at the time, we bad needed it. I started to put some onions in here, but I'll be honest with you, the smell don't bother me. And I hated to waste the onion because I like onions now. And if I put them in there, I'd be wanting to eat the onions out of it. I done run out of ketchup over here. I'm trying to heat them up so they get cold in my plate. Roscoe is stuck between your eyes, son. I throwed it to him and it's stuck between his eyes. Y'all can't see it. Come here and look at the camera, Roscoe. Look, Roscoe. Look up, Roscoe. Roscoe, come here. Roscoe, come over here. Roscoe. Oh, it come off. Hey, y'all missed that. I was going to show y'all. It was stuck right between his eyes. I throwed him a little piece. Chris, they gonna be creek slung or stomp whooped. Jerry Clower said he could prepare them either way. I'm finna cut that pot way down. Because they just about ain't no more water left in it. And I don't want to burn them up, so I may ought to cut it slam off. But I'm going to eat my fill on them. Y'all going to just have to sit here and watch. That's all there is to it. Oh, what am I doing? I'm supposed to put that over here on there. That's some pretty hot sauce, too. But that habanero got a good flavor to it. I'm about out of ketchup. I got the bottle. It didn't have very much in it, so I could finish it off. $14 in one day. Good Lord. David Russian, that's a lot of pigs to be scraping and skinning and all of that. That there got, it done got tough on me there. Come on. Raphael's Refuge. I try to make everything fun. There ain't no sense in life being boring and miserable. I mean, they really ain't. There's a time to be serious, but it ain't often. Roscoe, you go get that piece. That looked like collard greens and corn. Alicia said, you can't stand to even think about them. Lord, and I think about them and my mouth goes to watering. I mean, get the hives and go to shit like DTs, start having withdrawals. I try not to think about them. But it's seriously one of them deals that you either love them or you hate them. There ain't no in between. They ain't no all right. Nancy, we'll do some medicinal plant videos before long when some stuff starts coming about. About the only thing you got right now is there's some dandelions coming up around here. Yeah, all day. I watch Justin Wilson a good bit. I just like to listen to him. I get in kicks on stuff, but I like Cajun cooking regardless. Now I don't even remotely attempt to try to stay true to Cajun roots. Like, Cajuns are they have rules to what they cook. Oh, you can't put this in it, or you don't do this. I ain't near about that way. If I think it might be good, I'll try it. But I like the sauce that they do on a lot of their foods. Like everything they cook over a bed of rice and it's got that sauce. That is what I like about it. So, but now I'm about ready for some crawfish. But I seen that Justin Wilson's cookbook had some how to make boudin in it, and he had a really simple recipe, and I think I'm gonna try it sometime. I gotta find my sausage stuffer though. Robert, we've cooked cracklings in there before. I make stews in it. We've cooked cracklings. I hadn't really fried anything in it. It'd take a lot of grease to fill up that thing. And that really ain't a big one. But y'all, I stopped up at the pawn shop. I walked out there the other day and just looked at them. I hadn't priced a wash pot like that in a while. The last time I looked at them, I seen some for $75. That's been several years ago. I knew they was more than that. I mean, it wasn't like a surprise, but I walked over and, man, they wanted $500 for some of them pots. Now, the one they wanted $500 for was a good bit bigger than that one, but they wasn't none of them less than $300. Paul Marcus, where you at? He said we lost our house during Hurricane Helene. We watch your channel to get a good laugh and learn a little something. Well, thank y'all for watching. I hate to hear you lost your house. Are y'all up in the Carolinas or down toward Florida or whereabouts? I had to go back up and find that comment. Thomas, I ain't giving Roxanne a bite. She liked to bit that fella today that come up here. No, I'll give her a bite. I ain't that mean, y'all. Yeah, Roscoe. They sitting there, their biggest hobby is watching me eat. Boy, I done got my nose running. You can tell it's hot when I do that. Mitchell County, North Carolina. Good night, Larry. Alicia, I like some mud bugs now. I don't hardly ever find enough here to eat. When I find them here, they little, and we put them on limb hooks and can't turn them into catfish. Dave going to get him a snap-on half-inch torque wrench. I had one, but I don't know what I done with the one I have. I got Brunswick. I got a bottle of hot sauce that I made right here out of habaneros and stuff and jalapenos, and it's pretty spicy. And it just got my nose running. I have fared pretty good with the sickness. There's been a bunch of folks around here sick. I'm trying to eat these just a few at a time instead of a big old plate full because they'll get cold on that plate. They ain't good then. And I'm getting a lot of juice out of them. We strain that out on the ground, but I was scared to strain much of it because I fool around and lose one of them chitlins, I'd be upset. Roscoe'd be proud of me now, come on. He'd be tickled pink. Well, anyway, while I ain't, Nancy, I made pop sitting right here. Jeff said, I thought you was kidding about eating 10 pounds. No, man, if something's good, I'll eat it. But I'm going to tell y'all, well, I did eat a hamburger today. I got hungry. This is, as much of these as I'm eating right now, I'm probably going to have to repent over. I wouldn't advise you to eat like I eat. It'll catch up with me, I'm sure. But I figured I'm already ugly. I might as well be fat too. Yeah, Brunswick, if it ain't hot and make your nose run, it ain't really hot sauce. It's candy then. Y'all see that? Y'all see that? Roscoe, you can have that, and it got a lot of flavoring on that, and I gotta go wash my fork off now. This now is what the church calls finger foods. They'll have a cooking at the church, and they'll say, "Okay, y'all, bring finger foods." I didn't ever know what finger foods was, but I know now. They don't want to have to wash no fork, so they want you to eat with your fingers. So that's what I'll just do. The only problem is I got a knife on the side, but I don't like cutting with my knife in these ceramic plates. It'll dull it up, boy. We might ought to quit after this plate full anyway. There's still a good many in there. I'll probably eat 5 pounds. I don't know, I might eat 6 or 7. Hey, down there, something must be at the chicken pen. Boy, folks been all worried to death about them chickens ain't gonna be able to find the roost. Oh, don't turn them lights on in the afternoon and at night. The chickens won't be able to find the roost. I've yet to go out there at night and see them not on the roost, though. All right. L&W, I saved just enough for you. That's it. I eat most of them, but I saved you a plate full. I think. Can't dip them up now. There's a good many still in there. I'm finna cut that pot off though. And I'll show y'all my lid. Make sure it fell over on the ground. I want to make sure it's clean under there. Ain't got no grass get in my chitlins. Somebody will think I didn't wash my chitlins good enough. But I done found out if you don't wash them real good, you'll have plenty for yourself. You know, you won't have to do all that pouring corn and whatnot in there. I can't believe I threw that fork on the ground. All right. Well, I believe I weigh about 6 pounds more right now. Probably do. So anyway, where Philadelphia chopsticks. Yeah, there you go. Brenda Joe, see you later. Thank you. Thank you for watching tonight. Nancy, I ain't got an egg yet. Them frazzling things still ain't started laying. But last year it took them a little while before they started. But now what I need to do as well is I need to go get another sack of feed. Usually at this time of year to really get them started, I need to go get some layer pellets, and I hadn't done that yet. But I did restraw their boxes to where they got nesting boxes, but it hadn't, so far they ain't none of them laid an egg yet. So I don't know. They may not like them white lights I added in there. Huckleberry, you have just missed the best meal that we've ever cooked on here. I mean, we got a pot right here just about empty now. Had chitlins in it. Mike Culpepper said, you got a chitlin full of chitlins. Yeah, that's exactly what we got right here. We are tanked off. Got to build pens tomorrow, Chris. I need to be working on some of mine. Jenny Bear, good night. I'm getting ready to, I need to get down there and clean up in my garden. I got to redo some things in my garden. I'm going to pull those fences I put permanent in there. I thought, man, they will always be there. It's a thing, but they sag too bad, and you can't. They just ain't worked good. And I'm going to take them out for my running beans, and I'm going to put hog panels in there, but I want them where I can take them in and out every time. I'm going to do away with them posts on in the whole mess. It's got to go. And the reason is I want to be able to put fertilizer under the ground. With that like it is, all you can do is sprinkle fertilizer on the top of the ground right there. Well, it rain washes that off down the hill somewhere. So I'm going to do that and get that straightened away. But I was thinking about working on that garden, it being this time to, start. If you're going to start seeds, it's time to get your seed trays out and get that done, especially if you're down here in the deep south. But what I was thinking about is Uncle Percy, he was out there, had him planted a whole bunch of corn and stuff out there, and he had Marcel out there plowing it with a mule. Marcel was going down them rows and coming back. He got to the end of the road, and there was a car sitting there, and said, there's a fella hung up on the fence over there. I was staring at him, said, fella, said, them sure are some crooked rows. Marcel looked at him and said, you fit more corn on a crooked row. Fella laughed. He said, there ain't much between you and an idiot, are they? Marcel said, no, sir, nothing but a fence. Chase Clark, either email me to get a knife or get on Facebook and message me on the Spirit of the Outdoors Facebook page. I very seldom look at my personal Facebook page, so don't message it. It'll be a month before I see it. Laser Addict. That's Joey Martin from M4 Laser Works right there. Joey, can we have hats that are not camouflage? Somebody asked today, can we make hats that are not going to be camouflage? And I ain't even considered it because I don't wear a hat too much. But I said, probably he can put it on whatever color hat they want, I reckon. I don't know. That's a question you can answer. Jamie, my dad, built that smoker behind me. Now, I added this pipe right here. It had a small pipe on it. It started out as just a barbecue grill we built, and the bottom rusted out, so we added about inch and a half or 2 inches to the bottom of it and put the plate on it. And I told him while he was doing that, I said, put me a firebox on the end. So we added a small firebox down there, and it works really, really good. I like it. So I added the smokestack, the bigger pipe, because it needs more airflow to keeps from overpowering your meat with smoke smell. I don't like it just really, really, really smoky, but now it don't take long for it to get really, really, really smoky, I can tell you. I don't know about that, Chase Clark. I don't know Tim Parker. He is up around Calhoun City somewhere. He's a blacksmith up there. If that rings a bell, but Mr. Tony Parker has got an artery in his neck that is giving him fits. He's got I want to say it's either a clogged artery or it's got a blood clot in it or something. And they was going to try to do a stent. And I talked to Tony the other day when I was talking about earlier. I made a bunch of phone calls. Well, Tony was one of them I called to check on. I called and checked on Mr. Charlie Pickerel out in Texas and seen how he was doing. And I called Tony Parker to check on him and see how he was doing. And he was at home and was doing all right, but he couldn't do nothing. They got him, stay in the house and don't do nothing. But Michelle told me today she was on Facebook and saw they had put him back in the hospital. So I need to find out, I reckon, what is going on with him. Pot of rice with red peppers, chilies, rooster spur. What is rooster spur? And any hot you can put in there and feed it to your chicken. I'll tell you this, when I dehydrated all of them jalapeno peppers and I took all the seeds that I got out of there, man, for about 2 days after that, I had eggs. I had to come in toting them in my shirt. I'd hold in my shirt like that. It was just full of eggs. Oh, Sasquatch, you ain't being lazy, are you? I'll be honest with y'all. I've smeared around with it. It was raining this morning, and it rained most of yesterday on and off. And I got a late start, and then I had to go to town yesterday. Or I went to town today. Did I go yesterday too? I shipped knives. I don't think I went yesterday. We had church last night. We had to go had a business meeting. Rooster spur is a hot pepper. All right. I did not know that. Never heard of a rooster spur. Shows you what I know, don't it? So anyway, Thomas Shepard, good night. I laid up in the house till about 9 o'clock before I got out and went to doing anything. And then I had to, which I stayed out there. I don't know why, but last night I stayed out there till about 8:30 or so, finishing up a sheet. One of my buddies up the road up here, he was at home. They was fixing to leave and go back off to work. They stay gone a while working. And he had one of them little old timer knives, a charade. What do you call them? I can't think of the name of them little old knives. But they got the short blade. They make good skinny knives. But anyway, he had one that had some problems with a handle. He said, I want you to put me some wood handles on it. I said, all right. I come home, and of course he wasn't in no hurry for it, and I was waiting on leather to glue together to make some sheaths last night. While I was waiting on that, I started fiddling with it. I took the handles off of it. And the reason I was doing all this curious is because I've got one that Rubidoux Creek sent me. and it's got he couldn't sell it or do nothing with it because it's got another fella's name on it. He got Brad's knife and sent it to me is what he done. But he buys them at thrift stores and flea markets and eBay and wherever else he can find them, and restores them, cleans them up, and such as that. And he sent me one, so I wanted to change the handles on it. It's a nice knife, but it's got another fellow's name on it. I hadn't told it to use it. I always got my Jonah, but they great skinning knives. And so I took the handles off of this fellow's knife last night, and I put some sycamore on there. And y'all, that little old knife looks good with a sycamore handle. I said, well, I'm going to have to do mine like that. It's one of them old timer knives. I don't, but they call it, is it a sharp finger? That may be what it is, backwoods. I don't know. Probably what it is. I think you're right. I think it's called a sharp finger because they got that little swooped up short blade about 3.5 inches. But man, they good skinning now. Everybody's about got one, and I've got one out there he sent me, and I'm probably gonna do a video taking the handles off and putting. I'm probably gonna put sycamore on mine. I like it, and I'm gonna tell you this about them, JL. That joker is out of some hard steel. If you ever get it sharp, it ought to stay sharp a while. But now, if you ever get it dull, you gonna rub on it for a while before you sharpen it. Because I put it on that drill press. I was gonna see if I could drill a hole in it to put my 1/8 pins in there. Hand. No, sir, we didn't even scratch it. We didn't. So we had to. I had to find. Well, I had to make me a pin out of a big old nail to pin the handles on there, but we made it work and got it done. So it turned out looking really good. And they all, just about the ones that I've got now, have all had plastic handles. The one he had, what it is that they put them plastic handles on there and they got a screw that goes in from both ways, screws into itself, holds them on there. And then they got this little bitty brass thing that they glued on there. You take a torch and heat that thing up, it'll fall right out. Mine's got USA on it. And then it's got charade by that. Now, the one I did last night didn't have USA on it. Yeah, Uncle Sasquatch, it was as hard as Chinese arithmetic. I'm gonna tell you. I pulled that drill press down and said, I said, well, that ain't gonna. I'm just gonna run a drill bit here, so I just quit. I didn't even keep on. I done been down that road. I had a kitchen knife. I'm bad to go to the thrift store, and I look, they got a bucket over there that people just throw knives with. Usually it's full of junk, Walmart, odd and end, flimsy blade knives. Every now and then I'll pull one out, and it'll have Japan wrote on it, or be some nice shelf. Now, every now and then you'll find one of them old hickory knives down in there or something, and I'll bring them home and clean them up. Well, I found one that had Japan on it, and the handle was busted. I said, well, I know what I'll do. So I brought it home, and I was going to put me an Osage handle on it. And I did, but it don't have no pins in it, and I'll tell you why. I found out that you could put it on that table saw, and you could just cut your groove and drop that blade down there and epoxy it, and it would be just fine for a kitchen knife. But you ain't going to put no pins in it because it was so hard you couldn't drill it, not with nothing. I thought about heating it up and annealing it and then drilling it. And I just, when I started heating on it, it started turning that stainless, the color, and I was like, no. You got you one of them queen fishing knives? I got this case one in my pocket, and I like the case to tote because it's shorter. But now I like that queen, and I'm going to tell you, I got to order me a yellow queen. I don't have one of the, I got a bone handle one, but I don't have the yellow handle queen, and they fixing to start making them over here in Alabama somewhere, and they going to be American made, and I'm sure the price is going to reflect that when it happens. I just feel sure. So, you know, I'm curious, about what some of this stuff that we getting a good deal on right now that's coming from overseas, how that's gonna work with these new tariffs we fixing to have. Uh, Timu may go up dramatically, reckon. Would ironwood make a great handle? Mike Culpepper, I'm of the persuasion that you can make a handle out of anything. I mean, you stop and think about this. The Native Americans made blades out of rocks. So you can shot. What is that dog tree down there? But you can short about anything, and I figure you can make a handle out of about anything. Now, some of them will last a lot longer than others, and some of them is prettier than others. But I figure ironwood would make a fine handle, most likely. Huckleberry, I have got to work on a boning knife. I've got a piece of steel laid out that I'm going to build a fillet knife. I really need to get the fillet knife done first, but I've got to master being able to grind that fillet knife because crappie season is going to be coming up really, really quick. Roxanne's got something treed down there. Got them short barks. She's looking at whatever she's got down there. Probably a possum hanging about yay high off of a tree, looking at her just smiling real big, I figure is what it is. English Joe, I'm bad curious too, but now if I strike out down there, y'all ain't gonna be able to see nothing. Could be Bigfoot down there. Where is oh-ho Bigfoot hunters when you need him? I bet that's what's down there. Let me go get a light right quick, and I'll see how this works. We'll go down there. We'll see what it is. Give me just a minute here. They'll be quit by the time I got a brand new light. Bright, how you say that? I got their little pocket lights, and I really like them, and they messaged me like, hey, we got a hunting light. And I'm like, well, all right. I got one just like this in the Ode Pro, and I like it. I done charged the battery. I took it out of the box, charged the battery. I don't know which way this battery goes in though. I figure that way, but I ain't sure. I must have put it in backwards. What's the odds? She still got whatever it is. Whoa, now. What happened there? Well, it blinked on for a second. Well, I'm going to destroy it before I ever figure out how to operate. I done got it filthy. I got to do a video on this thing, y'all. I can't tear it up yet. Let's turn that battery around and see what happens. I bet that's a whole deal. What y'all want to bet? That's got to be the answer. Well, I can't make it come on. I charged this thing up, but now it may be dead on me. I don't know what all's in this box. Which way does the battery go in there? Does it tell me? I need some destructions. Yeah, the negative goes at the back. So it most definitely goes in that direction. They don't know me. I'll bang it on the table or something if it don't work with me. Well, sir. Dog done quit barking now. throw that thing in the trash. We're gonna have to work on it before we can do him a video. Dog's done quit barking now. She's up here. Roxanne, did you get it? What'd you have down there? What is it? What was down there? Was it a possum or a raccoon? What'd y'all find? Where's he at? Where's he at? Where's he at? Go get him. Where's he at? Go get him. Yeah. Well, go get him. The light won't work. I got a light and it won't work. I'm mad the battery's dead as a hammer. But it blinked on there for a second is what really puzzled me. I'm just curious if there's some trick to turning it on, because I ain't had time to read all the... Yeah, I ain't got time to work with all that. We'll have to go hunt another light if we go down there. Yeah, Huckleberry, we can't be pulling the hole puncher out. You bring a hole puncher out and the screen will go dark. We found that out the hard way. I mean, it's been hanging out there in the cold. It's been about 2 weeks. No, it's been a week. I charged it up one day about a week ago. And I would plug it up right now, but I don't have the correct cord up here. The cord's laying down yonder. But the other lights I have got from them are like really, really good lights. So this one won't come on. It blinked for a second one time. But I'm mad and I need to charge that battery. Let me go get another light. That's what we'll do since they down there barking again. All right. Here's how we're going to do this. Y'all fixing to get seasick now. Y'all asked for it. Where's he at, Roxanne? Where's he at? Roxanne, she went over at the chicken pen. Look. Y'all see them lights on? Roxanne, come on. She's over there chasing rats. Where's he at, Roscoe? Where's he at? What you after down here? Huh? Y'all, we're getting away from the Wi-Fi now. The Wi-Fi, we're going to get out of range of it, and you're liable to go off. Where's he at? Roxanne. Look, standing right here under my feet. Roscoe, where's he at? standing here by me. He ain't going out there in that dark bay. Look, she's running around right here. Roxanne, where's he at? Go get him. Go get him. Where's he at? What was you after? Yeah, they not. I'm going back up here because they not gonna. They gonna stand under my feet waiting for me to go try to catch whatever it is. I ain't going out there by myself. Y'all don't get seasick before we get up here now. We looking like Blair Witch and whatnot. Ain't no telling what we'll encounter down there in the dark. There used to be a wild woman down there in that swamp. When I was a kid, they always told us about the wild woman down there in the swamp. And I always thought they was joking. I heard her carry on one night and go to squalling in a holler down there. Whoo, make your hair stand up. All right. Well, we get back. Well, I have thrown that on the ground now. It might work again one day. I don't know. I need a fresh cup of coffee after all that. This and here done got cold. Lukewarm. The Bible said to spit that out, didn't it? Said it'd rather be hot or cold. Oh, well. I don't know what it was. Huckleberry, you the closest guest. They used to be well, I seen a panther down there one night. It wasn't black, it was tan, but it had a long tail. And we was running limb lines when I seen it, but one of them things that squall out down there in the middle of the night and you camped out, you be ready to come on to the house. So they told all of us it was a wild woman, you know. Of course, when we was kids, we yes sir, we believed it. And when that thing went to hollering at night, you thought it was. It wasn't a bobcat. It was a full-grown 200 or 150-pound cat. I'm telling you, the one I saw down there had a tail about this long, and it was tan. Now I hadn't seen evidence of one in probably close to 20 years. But now there's still a few bobcats down there, but the bobcats they didn't scare me. They'll scare you. Now I'm gonna tell you one to get you them screech owl, them owls that squall out. If you ain't ready for one of them and he's close, he'll make you question your sanity. I don't have no Mississippi Bigfoot. I had never had no Bigfoot encounters. Now, I'll tell you what I have had. Here a couple of years ago, we was down there. I don't know what we were doing. It was in the fall of the year. I think we must have been going squirrel hunting. Or either we was fishing. May have just been going fishing trying to get. But in that mud down there close to the creek, they was some big old paw prints. And I'm talking about some big ones. And I got to looking at them and I said, them don't fit no creature that we got around here. And they was in that soft mud and they was easy to see. It didn't take no educated expert tracker to figure out this, what this looked like. But what it was, I think, was one of the bears. We've got a few black bears here in Mississippi that come through. They've got trackers on most of them. And I'm sure there's probably some that don't have tracking on them, but they don't stay here. They'll want to pass through every now and then. And I have never seen one. Now my brother-in-law swears he saw one day, and I can't say he did or he didn't. I don't know. But I had trying to think now what I was going, but anyway, we was down there and it was a bear track that went up that swamp. And that weekend, I seen which way it was going, and I was back down there probably a couple of weeks later squirrel hunting, and I found the tracks again, same tracks. And I about know that's what it was, but then after that I ain't seen it no more. So they a few that comes, they just pass through occasionally. I don't know of anybody that has really seen them, like to positively say yeah or take a picture or anything like that. Now they had pictures of some below us down here in Meridian, Lauderdale County, but I don't know of anybody in Neshoba County that has actually photographed one or had one on a game camera or anything to say that is what it is. So I know all through Mississippi they got a lot of pictures and sightings, and they come through here. So most of them are our own game and fish is tracking. I seen where they recollared one, a big one here not long ago, and got it, put a new collar on it or whatever, a new tracker on it. Huckleberry, we had a fella over here. They said had some lines that got loose. This has been 15 years ago, something like that. May have been closer to 20 years ago. He had bought some lines from somewhere. I don't know what, or I never seen them. I don't know the details on it, but they got out. And the word of mouth was as they was just rambling around. Didn't I don't know if they ever caught them. I don't know if they. I don't know what happened to them things. But you did. I tell you this, you never heard nothing else about it, and that was it. So if anybody found one, they shot it and they kept their mouth shut. They didn't say nothing, and that was it. So I don't know what happened. Randy Allen, you got a picture of a bear in Kemper County? Eugene Ledbetter seen a lion in the yard. Randall Hayes said a man took a mountain lion to a checking station at West Point in Georgia. Game warden said if it was natural from that area, he would go to prison. It was a western mountain lion. That was years ago. Well, I'm going to tell you, you don't be shooting stuff you ain't sure about and then going and showing it to the game warden. That ain't never a smart idea. I have encountered very few odd creatures. The only thing that I remember the first what we call a water dog. Y'all know what a water dog is? They like a salamander, or I can't remember the technical name for them, but they like they got gills, but it looks like a lizard. I pulled up a limb hook, and one of them things is hanging on it with his gills all flared out. I mean, I didn't know what I had done caught. And I don't even remember what I was using for bait when I caught it. And then a couple of years after that, I caught a catfish. It had this big old knot in its belly, and I was like, well, I'm curious of what he ate. So I cut it open to see, and it had one of them things on the inside of it. That catfish had swallowed that water dog. So yeah, mud puppy, something like that. And I remember the first time I seen one of them things, I didn't know what it was. And I remember showing it to my daddy, and he said, oh, that's a water dog. So they had seen them and knew all about them, but I was a teenager and limb hooking. I didn't have no, I'd never seen one before. So, you know, when you encounter stuff you've never seen, it looked odd to me. I thought I had some kind of alien species pulled up. But I really had never seen no whole lot of just weird stuff. Most of the time when I saw something, I could positively identify it. But now, I was headed down the road one day, me and Brody, we was on a buggy, and we were headed to the pond over there at my in-laws to bass fish. We left over here with our fishing poles in the back of the buggy. It's in the summer, over toward fall, really, and headed up the road, and there was something run across the road in front of me right over here. And I said, well, that was odd looking, and I got on up there closer to it, and I said, is that a coon? I said, it looks like a beaver. And I got, but that ain't got no beaver's tail. But now, when I got right up beside the thing, and I mean, I got a good look at him down in that ditch, it looked like a beaver with a bushy little tail, almost like a coon, but it looked like a paintbrush. I said, now what is this? And it run up the bank and was gone like that. I mean, I didn't get to just sit there and scrutinize it. So I asked a few people. I was hesitant on who all I told I seen it because folks will start accusing you of be lost your mind, and they probably wouldn't be far from right. But you hate to admit that, so you just kind of keep your mouth shut. I asked a few people. Well, finally, I had one of the game wardens called me, and he said, "Tell me what you saw." And I described it to him, and he said, "You one of about 3 or 4 people that I trust to identify something and know what they're talking about." He said what that was a groundhog. And he said, we've got a few in Winston County. He said, and they're slowly making their way into Neshoba County. He said, and I've got reports of about 3 or 4 different ones in the last couple of years. So we now have groundhogs in Neshoba County. Not very many. I have not. That's the only one I've seen. I hadn't seen another one. So we've never had them growing up. Dave, y'all got a bear hunting season in Louisiana? See, we don't have enough bears here which I've never seen one in the wild. And I have spent a good bit of time in outdoors not to have ever seen one. And I seen something here this winter that I had not seen in a long time. I was coming out of the woods, shining my light around. Every time you hear something, what was that? You look. So on the side of a pine tree was an owl about this tall. And he was on the side of that tree, them little, I don't know what, little barn owls or whatever they call them. I'd not seen one in years. And I seen one this year. So, some of this stuff we've got around here, you don't see a whole lot. I had one of my neighbors down the road call me, and he said, man, he said, am I crazy? He said, I swear I just seen a pheasant. He was hunting down here in the edge of this swamp. And I said, no. I said, I raised and turned about 9 loose here about 3 years ago. I said, I ain't seen hide and hair of them since. I said, so it is really possible. But I figured something had done killed all of them. He said, I think I seen one. So I'm hoping that some of my pheasants made it. I think I turned 9 of them loose. I've had a bunch of people tell me that groundhog was good. Now, obviously, we don't have a season here, so. Marshall Cruz, you about right. Ain't no way I'd shoot a bear because most of them has got a tracking collar or a chip in it or something. Yeah, you go to skinning, you they know right where it went. Well, Robert Martin, this owl wasn't but about this tall. He wasn't gonna tote off much, but now I got a hawk that he's faithful to stay right out here in a pecan tree. And he's helping thin out my bird problem of eating all my fruit trees up. So he's welcome to stay here. I used to try to keep them kind of shooed off, if you know what I mean. But after I had the problem of birds eating all my fruit up, I said, you know what, the hawks really ain't bothering me much because I can keep my chickens in a pen. They really can't get my chickens. I used to leave some chickens out some, but I can't handle a chicken scratching all the pine straw out from around my fruit trees and stuff after I've worked hard to gather it up and put it around there. And I catch a chicken scratching around my stuff like that, I want to knock his head off. So I figured out it was better for me to keep him chickens in the dad blame pen where they belong. And I know them chicken lovers want you to turn them loose and let them just have their free willy way all over the yard and, roost on your car and all that kind of stuff. It ain't happening here. Good night, English Joe. Have a good one. Show you the toe of them boots. What I've been kicking. Mine's in good shape. Now the back of them is split. I like these Twisted X boots. What did you want to see the toe of them for? I'm sure there's a catch to that. I'll find out here shortly. Well, it has done got quiet, and Roscoe is standing right there guarding that door. He's ready to go in and get in his recliner. He's oh, look at him. He's look at him. He's ready to go in. You going inside? All right. Let him go on in and enjoy his night out in there. He's gone to bed on me. He done had all he wanted tonight. Oh, Robert, they are Twisted X boots. Cindy, I heard that the hides were good, that they were good eating. So, if that's all the truth, I welcome them to come here. But now I have heard that they will play havoc on your garden. So, I don't know about all that. That may be what's happening to some of my stuff in the garden. But most of my problem has been in my corn patches. The raccoons is what's giving me fits. And I said I was going to trap them, but I ain't even been down here fooling with them. We got plenty of armadillos here, Elisha. And I went and looked for rabbits the other day, and I ain't found no rabbits. I don't know what happened to the rabbits, but I know what I want to do while I'm sitting here. I want to see if these batteries are interchangeable, if this light works with these other batteries in there, because I know good and well I charged that up, but I may have ruined it or something. And all of these batteries in these lights is the same thing. This one is just you got to charge. It's got a thing where you plug into the battery itself to charge it. Oh no, that's actually a different size. That don't work either. Well, that thing might be a piece of junk. If it is, it's the first one that they've sent me that wasn't no count. That don't go on there. This goes on there. This is a trust fire light. This thing, son, you can shine the moon with it and light it up. I mean, but now there ain't no. I mean, that joker, you light the world up with it. So it's got about 4 different modes. I don't know what to hold up with this one is. Something ain't right with it. Oh, I bet I know what it is. Let's see if I figured something out. I ain't read the instructions for one thing. That didn't help nothing. This thing right here, I believe, is a piece of junk. It ain't gonna work. We may have to do some sending that back to them. All right. Butterfly Farms, good night. I'll tell Brody good night. John Culver said press and hold. Ah, well, why didn't I think of that? Why you got to do that? You got to hold it down before it comes on. Well, thank you, Mr. Culpepper. Now we could have went and used this light. That thing's bright. And we got green. Yeah, you can see. Huh. Well, Al, I'm glad you was on here because I never would have figured it out. Yeah, you just got to sit there and hold it down before it comes on. So it's got a...
Has he been outside?
Who?
Roscoe.
Yeah, just let him in.
I was wondering if he was soaking wet, and I was like, oh, I've been back yonder. I didn't know.
He was over there pawing at the door. Yeah, you just got to hold it down for a little while. You got one of these. Dandy little light now. I was about ready to throw it in the trash. But I did tell y'all I hadn't read the instructions yet. I didn't have time. I was on there fooling with them. So, well, sir. Mike, I don't like stuff don't work. I get frustrated when I'm fiddling with something, and I knew I'd charged it up. And I knew I loved all the other little Brightnight lights that I've got. They're excellent lights for the money. So that was why I was like, well, I don't need this light, but after it wouldn't come on when I needed it to. And the next thing is, look, you can dim it. It's got a knob back there where you can brighten it up. And then you can change the colors. So, that rabbit that's been hanging around out up here, better watch out. I'll get my little hole puncher. All right. If I didn't have some of y'all to keep me straight on here, I'd be in a mess. I don't know what I'd do. Well. That's what we need to do is go armadillo hunting. We can't do it live, oh. Well, look, John, if you're going to buy one, wait till I do the video on it and buy it through the link where I get some help from them. They'll support, but Brightnight, I knew made some good lights, but I'm going to tell you right now, I never would have figured out by myself to just hold that down, because here's how long you got to hold it. Ready? Go. You see how long you got? Now, I might have held it for a second or two, but you got to hold that for about 3 or 4 seconds before it comes on. You mash it and it goes right off. Well, that's how long it takes. I'd have never figured that out. Well, I'd have had to read them instructions, and I'm sure they probably tell me. And I'll tell you what, I tell you this on live, because I wouldn't say this in their video. But the Ode Pro light I got like this, it's clamped on my little 22. Comes with all the clamps and stuff to clamp it to a gun. Well, this one don't come with nothing. Or if it do, I ain't found it in this box. Now, you do get the deal to hook to the back of it where you got the switches on back here. But you ain't got nothing to mount it to your hole puncher. You know what I mean? That is the only downfall to this particular. It is not rigged up as of right now to mount on to a rifle for predator hunting. So That's a chalk against it. The Ode Pro light, and they trying to get rid of all them Ode Pro lights. I put them in that video the other day I done and linked it. And when I was shooting a little 22, and you get a discount through that code, so they got them marked down, and it comes with all the clamps and all that to hold it on the rifle. You get out, ramble around here at night with a light, you'll find you an armadillo. And I tell you, in the fall of the year, if you happen to be out at night and piddling around and they in them dry leaves, you'll think it's a herd of elephants coming through there. It'll just sound like it tearing up the woods. We got plenty of armadillos. Robert Martin said duct tape. I like it. That'll work for me. Baling wire and duct tape, it'll be on there. Said that light don't back talk. So anyway, y'all. Uncle Sasquatch, you ain't been watching the Red Green show, have you? He said duct tape is a handyman's secret weapon. If the women don't find you handsome, at least they'll find you handy. Toby Tate, y'all got plenty of groundhogs. Do y'all hunt them? Is there a season on them? Or you trap them? Or is it against the law to kill them? Or I've just heard they're good eating. So somebody's killing them somewhere, and I'm curious. Huckleberry, I'm wanting to go squirrel hunting here pretty quick, but I'm going to tell you what my problem is. We ain't got no squirrels moving around. I got that CZ457 out there. I'm itching to go shoot squirrels, and I need to go down the swamp, but they ain't moving around nowhere. We pour corn out the end of my driveway, and there's about 3 that stay down there all year long eating, and all of a sudden now I ain't seen hide and hair of them. I've walked around the woods back here, ain't seen no squirrel, and that's why you ain't seen no squirrel hunting video. A lot of our small game is just, it's like all of a sudden they went and hibernated, and I ain't never heard of a squirrel hibernating. So there ain't nothing for them to eat for starters. They probably got all the acorns they could find gathered up and packed in a hole somewhere, and they just sitting up in the hole of a tree just stuffing their faces all day, I imagine. So maybe it's something to do with the time of the year, or maybe this cold spell that come through here has done something. Huckleberry said he's overrun by squirrels. I don't know what happened here. We had them all through hunting season, through deer season. I seen them. Every time I'd leave the house, they was down there in that driveway. And the reason I say down there, my mom and daddy pours corn. I shoot any of the squirrels down there in the yard. I use that down there running around. I said, well, I know the squirrels is out moving around today, but they ain't out there. I don't see them. Open season on groundhogs and armadillos in Tennessee, said Robert Martin. Uncle Sasquatch, I like old Red Green. Michelle, she gets fighting mad when I watch it. She said, he's so silly. I like to watch it, though. David Russian, you got pecans? That makes me so mad. We ain't got no pecans up here either. Ain't no acorns, ain't no pecans. We ain't got nothing this year. They drained our swamp, and the water table is, they tore every beaver dam out of this swamp down there where all the water will go down there to Jackson. And they got all the water down there. I guess they still trying to make potholes in Jackson or something while they want all the water down there instead of leaving us any up here. Well. Y'all, I'm about ready to call it a night, I believe. We done about run out of stuff to talk about. We done eat a whole pile of chitlins. I'm mad these chitlins that's in this pot over here done got thick. We're gonna leave it. Oh, that's still warm. They ain't got thick. That pot still. That's what I like about that cast iron pot. You get it hot now, doggone, it'll stay there and hold the heat. That's why I like cooking in cast iron. I had to clean up Michelle's skillet out here. We had cooked something in it. I was down we got a place out here on the reservation called Beams Gun and Pawn, and they got the best selection of cast iron, and they got it marked a little high. But if you go tell that fella, hey, what do you take for this? He'll usually work with you. You Jew him down a little bit, in other words. And I bought one of them Dutch ovens that's got the legs on it. It's a 12-quart Dutch oven. And we bought that skillet, and that skillet is about a 14 to 16 inch skillet. I mean, it's got the two handles on either side. It's at least this big around, no kidding. And I bought both of them for like $120, something like that. I thought that was a good deal myself. I think I got it cheaper than that. I think it was 120 and he come down to like 110 or so. Maybe, I don't know. Anyway, he worked when I got a good deal and I was like, yeah, I want it. We got both of them. Anyway, skillet was out here, so I had to heat it up and clean it. So I cleaned the Dutch oven I had cooked something in that Dutch oven that needed cleaning out. It done started growing hair in it. Y'all don't never have that happen at y'all's house, do you? You don't find a pot and say, what's in here, and pop the lid off, and man, it looks like a science project gone south. Man, I popped the lid off that thing. I don't know what I'd cooked in there, but I left it in there entirely too long. And so I had to clean that mess up. I dumped it out there where I dumped the dog scraps down there by the tree. And boy, the dog cut out going the other way. She didn't want nothing to do with that. So I got it back up here and poured some hot water in it. I had a bucket sitting over yonder over to the house. When it rains, I try to catch me some water to rinse pots out with. I don't tell nobody I do that because they'll say, oh, that's nasty. But anyway, I didn't drink your water now. I heated it up and rinsed it. You wouldn't know eat out of what was in that pot either. So after I got it all washed out, I wanted to get it hot and kill whatever was in there. So I had to completely re-season that pot. So I really don't know that I got it seasoned like I should, but I got it a lot better. And I'm probably going to have to go back over it again at that time. I like to do that stuff in the oven where to heat it all up good, but this does all right, I reckon. Uncle Sasquatch said he found something in the fridge one time that would glow in the dark. Yeah, it's like that old meme I seen on Facebook. It said, we don't throw away stuff around here. We put it in the refrigerator for 2 or 3 weeks till it goes bad and then throw it away. And that's about the truth of the matter. I be pulling bowls out of that refrigerator every now and then. What's this? You pop the lid off of a Cool Whip bowl, and it ain't Cool Whip. It whipped. It might whip you if you ain't careful. You pull the lid off of it real quick. Kathy Deal said Kent Rollins, good videos on cleaning cast iron. We got an expert. I think old Mike Culpepper in here is an expert on cast iron from what I gather. He probably come over here and show me how to season this wash pot up where I ain't got to fight with it. But my problem is I leave it sitting out here where humidity's playing havoc on it, is outside stuff. Under my shed down there, I've got a deer hide. The last deer that I killed, I said, I'm going to tan this one hair on, and I laced it in that frame. That joker is soaking wet, and it's up under the shed in there, out away from it. It ain't rained on it, but it's just catching moisture. So I figure the hair's probably going to slip on it. I got a wild idea. I'm probably going to lose that. And if it does, I'll just make leather, or if the hair slips on it, I'm probably going to bark tan it. It's going to be like big, thick. It ain't going to make buckskin. It's too thick for that. Ledbetter story time for before bed. What, Huckleberry, what Ledbetter story you want to hear? Canola oil in the spray can. I done put salt on that thing one time. Before I laid it out and salted. I'm talking about a thick layer of salt. And I had it dry, but every time it rains, it's just catching moisture and it's back wet again. I tell you what, I had it pulled tight and it was tight in that frame, and now it's just flopping. And I had to tighten the ropes up one time already, and now they loose again. So I don't know exactly what to do with it. Somebody said night Tommy. I ain't seen two. Where's Tommy? I missed. I ain't seen Tommy Litchfield tonight. So I was curious of why I ain't seen whoever Tommy is. Anyway, harvest and preserving various hides. Well, Cindy, I am currently working on some of them videos. The problem is a time consuming, like it takes a week to film a video. Well, I was filming on a hide the other day, and I ruined the hide. I'll just be flat honest with you. I put it in that pot and turned the fire on to warm that solution up I was tanning it in, and walked off and forgot about it. And it didn't get hot. I mean, I didn't forget about it very long. In a minute, I thought, oh, I got to turn it off. And I guess where it was laying on the bottom of that pot, the water wasn't boiling in it. But son, it swelled up thick and it's like rubber. I mean, it ruined the hide. So my problem ain't, hey, I know how to tan a hide. I just can't keep my focus on it to stay with the process for that long a period of time. If I get to sitting there waiting on it to be time to do something else, well, I need to be doing this over here too. So I'll go start that, and well, then I forget about it. And you know that stuff, it's time framed. You have to do what it wants to do when it wants to do it, not when you want to. And I have a problem with that. But I am working on it. Small game, I don't have as much problem with. We got some raccoons and stuff hung up down there I've got to tan. I've got some beavers fleshed out that we're going to tan. And I've still got one of them beavers that I caught the other day down there I've got to skin. I'm probably not going to film skinning it, but I try not to do a lot of skinning videos. YouTube just kind of, I don't know. They don't like to help my channel to begin with, so I don't reckon it could hurt nothing, could it? Oh, that's. I didn't know what was going on. Uncle Sasquatch, y'all telling Tommy good night anyway. I see David Rush is starting. I didn't know what was going on. Tommy wasn't in here, and y'all telling him good night. He's mad at us tonight. He didn't come to hang out with us. How about Uncle Crack Ledbetter and Rover the talking dog? That's the one he sent off to college. Man, Uncle Crack Ledbetter had a boy that was, man, he was sure enough smart a while. And he sent him off to college up there to Mississippi State and told him, said, man, he said, you go up there and help your education. Said, you won't have to work so hard like I've always had to work all my life, and you can make a good living. And so he sent him off to Mississippi State. Well, he got up there, man, and he sent him with some money, but man, he found out he liked eating them corn dogs and did this, that, and the other. And he went to a ball game and said, man, next thing you know, he done got to spending some money up there, and he done run out of money. Well, he got to trying to figure out a way that he could get some more money. So he decided, he said, you know what? He said, he wasn't a real honest fella. He called down to Uncle Crack, said, Papa, said, there's a professor up here. He said, if you'll send old Rover, that dog you love so much, up here, he said, he can teach him to read. Man, Uncle Crack, he couldn't stay. Yes, sir. Said that'll be the most awesome. I'll teach that dog. Said he can read. So he sent the dog up there and sent him a couple of $100. And man, it wasn't long. Cousin said done went through that money. He said, well, he wrote back down to Uncle Craig. He said, if you'll send some more money up here, he said, there's another professor up here that not only can this dog read, but he'll be able to tell you what he's reading. Be able to say a few words. So old Uncle Crack got all excited. He gathered up some more money, went to selling watermelons and everything else. Sent that money up there to that boy and said, man, that young'un is up there just wasting it on whatever. Had the dog tied off up there and finally said it got time for college to be out. Time to go home. And he said, man, I don't know what in the world I'm going to do. But he said, I can't take this dog back home because they going to know I've been lying to him. And so he just sold the dog to somebody else up there. Come home, and he, the whole way home riding that train, he was thinking about how in the world he was going to tell his papa that he didn't have that dog, you know. Said when he got to the train station, said, man, said there's a whole mob of folks there. Said Uncle Crack done gathered up half the community. Said there's all standing. He said, y'all gather up. Said that boy's coming home today. Said he's bringing old Rover. Said not only said he can read, said he's going to read and talk to you. Said he done learned dog how to read, done learned him how to talk. He said, y'all come down and see the dog. He's going to read and talk to you. Said, man, everybody was all excited. They was all gathered up at the train station waiting for that boy to get off the train. Well, the train pulled up. Everybody filed off. That boy ain't got off the train yet. Looked up there and said, walking down the track, said he done got off way up there to the other end. Said, there come that boy. So Uncle Crack took off running up there and said, where's Rover? Where's the dog? He said, Papa. He said, I didn't have a heart to tell you this. He said, I didn't want to tell you in front of everybody. He said, but we was on that train headed home. He said, and I was sitting there minding my own business. He said, no, Rover was sitting there reading the paper. He said, and he looked up at me over that paper, and he said, I can't wait to get home to your mama. I said, why is that? He said, I can't wait to tell your mama what I seen your papa and the maid doing one time. And Uncle Crack looked at that boy and he said, what happened? He said, Papa, he said, that lying dog said he made me so mad before I knew it. He said, I grabbed him by the collar. He said, and I throwed him out of that train. He said, and when I looked, said he was a-bouncing down them tracks behind that train. Uncle Crack looked at him. He said, son, he said, are you sure that that lying dog is dead? Oh, Lord. I'm trying to read. What did I miss? Well. Uncle Sasquatch is muddy month down below, ain't it? They quoting Jeremiah Johnson. Anyway, y'all, I am fixing to call it. It's 9:30. We done been at this 2.5 hours. We probably done well wore out our welcome. I know some of y'all folk, I better go to bed. Some of y'all might want to go home. But we have had a good time tonight. I've done eaten my belly's full, drank a pot of coffee. I'm fixing to go in there and prop my feet up, take a hold to that sleep mode on that recliner and pull it back and see what's on the TV. I'll be honest with you, I ain't gonna watch TV. I'm going in there and I'm gonna finish reading at this book. If y'all have never read A Land Remembered, that's a pretty good book. Now, I'm just gonna have to tell you. I'll figure out here for long who sent it to me. I can't remember. My mind is bad short. Raymond Rogers, good night. But thank y'all for joining in with us tonight. Live from Mississippi, just a lot of chit-chat and telling tall tales, Jerry Clower jokes, eating and question and answer and whatever else is going on. But thank y'all for tuning in and hanging out with me tonight. We'll see you next time. Remember, the best way to do things is the way you like to do it. We'll see y'all. Y'all have a good one.